is open. It's been open since Friday. That means that every assignment can be turned in starting Friday. You can do your final career project. You can do whatever you want to do. Please note that the class is over on this Thursday at 10 p.m. No exceptions. I can't open it up. The new classes start on Monday. There's nothing I can do either. The class even closes for me. So I can't even get back in the class. The class is over at 10 on Thursday. All of your week 3 assignments and week 4 is due by Wednesday. Is due by Wednesday. The only thing that will be open on Thursday is the final and your career project. Please, my friends, all grades have to be in that night. I cannot make exceptions. They don't give me any more time, just like they don't give you time. So I have to get it all in by Thursday as well. So I wanted to just make those announcements so that we can plan accordingly. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about business writing because you will be writing a thank you note to the career services person that did your mock interview. Hopefully, they gave you some great feedback. Hopefully, you guys are going to start to build that relationship with them. For those of you that are not graduating, I know many of us are. You have time to build that relationship with career services. It's one of the points of us even having you connect with career services in this class. So use that time wisely. If you have a few months left before you graduate, get to know career services. I cannot, stress enough the importance of networking. Yes, you are in school. Yes, there is part of their job to help you, but y'all have heard the term, the squeaky wheel gets greased, right? So you have to be that squeaky wheel. You have to be the person that's, connects with them, stays on top of them, not nag, but make your presence felt. Making sure that, you guys stay connected. They know what you want. If an opportunity comes up, you want to be the person that they think of, not because they're not supporting everyone, but if they know that you're trying to start your own business and you want to work for a small company and you've been keeping in touch with them and something comes up, you want them to think about you. So I'm just telling you, the smart move is to stay connected to career services. All right. So in business writing, really quickly, what we want to just discuss is that in business, you're going to have to write, whether it's a cover letter, an email, a thank you note, an invoice. You will be writing something, and in most writing has standard writing formats. Simple things like the type of font that you use. Believe it or not, Allegri, Times New Roman, Arial, even Calibri, these are all standard fonts. You'd be surprised that if you write in a different font, people would be like, what's this? Because, it is just the unspoken norm that these are the fonts that people use. They want it to be clear. They want it to be concise. People don't want to have to try to figure out what the wording says. So they want you to stick to these types of fonts. The same thing with the font size. It used to be 12. Now it's gone down to 11. That means you can't write letters in 9 font style. They don't want you writing it in 15 font, right? They want it to be I would still say 11 or 12, but the book says 11, so go with that because that could be on the test. So make sure you see it says 11, right? Of course, left justified unless it's an indented paragraph, and single space and only double spacing between paragraphs and 1-inch margins all around. That may seem obvious to many of us, some of us not so much. Not everyone has written a letter. Most letters are going to have some type of heading, which typically comes from the person that is doing the writing, which would be you, right? Then you obviously you need to put a date on it. A person opens up the mail, that's really the first thing that you do if you think about it, right? You get a letter in the mail, what do? after seeing who it's from, you're looking to see what the date is on it, just in case, whatever they're talking about has something that's maybe time sensitive, right? So it's always going to be some type of date on it. And then there'll be your address or the person's address that you are writing, because you need to know who's writing me, right? Because it's not always obvious on the envelope or in an email. Some people's emails don't even use their full name. So it's good to know, okay, well, who's writing me, right? Then you always want to greet. You don't want to just jump right into, I'm writing you because of blah, blah, blah. You always want to say hello, good afternoon, good evening, whatever. Just, greet the person that you are writing. And then the real crust of any writing, and I'm going to tell you, it does not matter whether you are writing a doctoral dissertation, an essay paper in school, a news blog, I don't care what you're writing, it all follows this same format. Every single form of writing has to have some type of introduction, some type of body, and some type of closing. Let me even go back further and just say every single paragraph has an introduction, a body, and a closing paragraph. And if you take that concept, everything that you write should have some type of introduction, some type of body, some type of closing. You can write anything, because if you can understand that every paragraph has to have an open line, has to have details about what you're going to talk about, and then has to close it out, then you understand that every section of your paper, every topic that you speak on has to have an opening, a body, and a closing. Some paragraphs, right? And here's the thing. If I said to you, I am going to write about why it's so sunny in Florida, that's going to be my topic. If I only had one thing to say about why it's so sunny in Florida, and I focused on where we are according to what was it, the line that determines how hot or cold it is. What's it called, guys? I forget the name of it. But where we sit, right, on the equator. And I only wanted to say one thing about that. That's why it's, one reason why it's so hot in Florida is where we sit. Okay. Then my paragraph would start with, I'm going to introduce it. Why, one of the reasons why it's sunny in Florida. And then the body is going to talk about it. One of the reasons why it's sunny in Florida is because, well, we sit on the equator, and we sit on the equator at this degrees and this axios and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm going to close it out. This is one of the main reasons why it's sunny in Florida. Introduction, body, paragraph, closing. If I've decided that I want to discuss 3 different reasons why it's sunny in Florida, my introduction will start with, I am going to discuss, I may then have an introductory paragraph that will still say, I am going to discuss 3 reasons why it's sunny in Florida. Reason number 1 is this, reason number 2 is that, reason number 3 is this. In this paper, I will be discussing these 3 reasons. That's my introductory paragraph, and it still has what? An introduction, a body, and a closing. My second paragraph is going to do what? Very simple. I'm just going to take the first thing that I'm going to talk about. One of the first reasons why it's sunny in Florida is this. Go into detail about why it's one of the reasons, close it out with, and that is why that's one of the reasons. Second paragraph is going to do what? Talk about the second thing. I'm going to introduce it. I'm going to give the details. I'm going to close it out. Third paragraph, introduce, details, close it. And my closing paragraph is going to be what? I'm going to recap why these are the 3 things why it's sunny in Florida. I've just written a whole paper using that format. That is writing 101. I have been writing my entire life. I am a writer by trade. I finished a doctorate in finance, finishing an executive Juris Doctorate degree. I have been writing since birth. That is writing 101. If you understand that concept, you can write anything. Does that make sense? That's all you're doing. Don't ever be afraid to write, because that is literally all you're doing. So if you are writing a cover letter, right, to your resume, what are you doing? Your introductory paragraph, whatever it is you're going to talk about, you got to know what you're going to talk about. If you're going to talk about two things, what's going to happen? You're going to have an introductory paragraph talking about, you're going to discuss that you're going to discuss two things. One paragraph for one thing, one paragraph for another thing, close it out with a closing paragraph. That's it, right? So don't overcomplicate writing. If you understand the structure of writing, it can be very simple. When you are writing to someone in business, and this is just some examples of what it looks like, like I was talking about, here's my information, here's that date. I'm talking to Mike, and then I greet Mike, right? Dear Mike. First paragraph, why I'm writing, the body, close it out. That's it. Then put your name at the bottom. That's it. So this example just says, okay, this is Jalea, her information, the date. Here she's talking to Josh. Hey, Mr. Josh, what does she want to do? Her opening is she wants to thank him for the interview. They had a great time at the interview, and she wanted to give him whatever he asked for. She goes on to talk about things that happened during the interview, their body. And then she closes it out with thanking him again for the time. The only difference in a thank you letter for a job is that you always want to end with, in your closing paragraph, some type of call to action. In other words, what are the next steps? Whenever you finish an interview and you want to always, always, always send a thank you email, it will make you stand apart. As a matter of fact, one of my students, I get this all the time, but one of the students from the last class just a few weeks ago, he was on his way to an interview. As a matter of fact, he was so nervous because he had to miss school because he had to do this interview. And, he was like, okay, Miss Taylor, he even showed me what he was going to wear. He was so cute. Showed me what he was going to wear, everything. He went to the interview. He did the follow-up thank you letter after the interview. And then he calls me back and he says, Miss Taylor, I got the job the next day. The people told me no one has ever sent them a thank you letter. How simple is that? The number of times I've been told that the company has said no one's ever done that before. It is typical for corporate environments. Sometimes, in other environments, not so much. But when you do that, you show people the difference between you and a lot of people say, education is not important. I always tell people only uneducated people say education is not important, because once you know better, you do better. These are little intricacies, details that you do that sets you apart. The difference between a professional and a non-professional, right? Everybody works hard, but you can tell the difference, right? And so professionals do what? We communicate, we follow up, you give your thank you notes. It sets you apart. Little small things like that. So you want to make sure that you do that. When you are sending a thank you email, which you'll be doing with your career services, and sometimes you'll do it with the companies. One of the reasons why I tell you to make sure you get that business card once you leave, because you may only have the HR person's email, right? Sometimes they will copy the person in the invite to interview, and you'll see these extra emails, and those are the emails to the other people that would be participating, but you don't really know who's who. Always ask for a business card of the person that you are interviewing with, because you want to then send them a thank you email, right? So you did a mock interview with career services. You are going to do the same. They are in the business of supporting you, so you want to thank them for their time. Get their emails, put their email at the top. And then what you want to do in this example, she had to follow up. Jalea had to follow up with giving Mr. Mitchell some references. You don't have an attachment with the email you're going to send. but you are going to say, dear whomever, right? You don't need their address at the top because it's an email, and you won't have your address at the top because it's an email. So you can go right into the greeting, dear whoever you met with. Thank them for the opportunity to meet with them to do the mock interview. And because that is the introduction. That is the point of the email is the mock interview. So I want to thank you for taking the time to do a mock interview with me, and think of one or two things that happened in that interview. And giving me insight into how to get my foot in the door in the HVAC industry. That's the first paragraph. The second paragraph, go into at least one or two specifics of what that person said to you. That is what's going to be impressive to them. Oh, he or she remembered when I said that one of the things they want to do is to make sure they talk about this in the interview. I really appreciated you giving me the feedback on what to talk about in the interview and different questions that they'll typically ask of a new HVAC technician. Right? That's what that body's going to say. And then that closing email is going to thank them again for their time, let them know that you will follow up with them or whatever y'all discussed as a next step, and close it out. If it's a real interview, if they ask you for a next step, if they, make sure you include that in your closing paragraph. If they didn't tell you anything about a next step and the only thing that you have to do is to wait to hear back, then that's what you're going to put. I look forward to hearing back from you soon. That is the next step. So when it comes to emails and doing closing paragraphs, it's always have some type of what we call to action, which is basically what's next after this. 90% of the time, you're just saying, I look forward to hearing from you. If they've asked for references or they've asked you to follow up with something, then that is what you want to put. Thanks again for your time. Please find and close the copy of my reference sheet as requested. I look forward to hearing from you. Right? Very simple. Small communication that makes so much sense. Got it? Now, for your assignment today, after you send that email, my friends, after you push the button and send the email, please do not send me a Word document of what you are going to say in your email. I want to see a screenshot of the physical email that you have sent to Career Services, thanking them for their time. I want to see the thank you email sent to them. All right. So you are going to take a screenshot of it. Go ahead, Savannah, and submit it for this assignment. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Yes, ma'am. We were told that they do not want an email sent to them.
You were told by who?
The lady that we did the mock interview with.
Who's that lady?
Miss Kim.
Kim Bryan?
Yeah, she said not to send it to her. We needed to send it to you.
No, that is incorrect. Send it. Do you even do it? Kim Bryan is not Career Services. She's Student Services.
No. Right, and that's who we did our mock interview with. We haven't honestly seen our career lady this whole entire mod.
No, send it to her. I'll talk to Kim. That this course is a standard course that has been around for 20 years, and it always goes to them. They can't determine who it goes to.
Okay.
I will email her directly. Thank you for letting me know that. Send it to her and send me a copy, okay?
That's probably what Savannah raised her hand for too.
Oh yeah, why would you send it to me?
I don't
maybe
know.
She Yeah, I'm sure she's thinking, maybe she's thinking this is your class and you send it to the teacher. No. Okay. Savannah, yeah, I'll take care of that. Sorry for that confusion, Tiffany.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
make
Thank
sure
you.
that gets taken care of. Yes, Savannah, go ahead. You're not able to come off mute? Let me see if I can. Oh, go ahead. We see you're off mute, but maybe your microphone's not working. Sorry, Savannah, we can't hear you. But you can text me, Savannah, and I can relay your message. You have my number. It's 689-224-5790. Because I don't think this chat, yeah, they don't have it working. 689-224-5790 if you want to text me. All right. So yeah, that's weird. I've never heard that ever. Okay. I'm just gonna, yeah, Savannah, I got it. Let me know if you need me to read your question out loud.
Can I have the phone number again?
No, I got it. I'm reading your text.
No,
Who is
this
it?
is Alyssa.
Oh, Alyssa, hey, it's 689-224-5790. I see Savannah was saying that Miss Kim said we needed to post the assignment to the classroom, not email it to them like as we were submitting. No, that she missed it. No, you need to send it to her and then you take a screenshot. So maybe she's filling in for career services. It sounds like that's what's happening because she's not career services. So I think maybe what campus are you with? Are you guys with everybody else that's not in that campus? Please ignore this conversation.
We're in Port Charlotte.
Yeah, please ignore this Port Charlotte conversation. This does not apply to you. They probably got something going on. But no, send it to her. I'll let her know. The point is to us to see that you physically sent it. Like for career people, career services, and everybody has their own career services at each campus, right? Remember, you guys are all from different campuses across the state. And these people do a lot of work, right? Y'all, and I used to work with career services. I sit on career services boards, and I've been doing it for a lot of years. And they actually go out into the community. They connect with these companies. They're trying to make sure you have employment once you graduate. That's one of the reasons why you're at this school, right? It's not just so y'all can hear us yap, it's to help you get a job. So part of career services responsibility is to help you connect with the community. So at minimum, everything you do in this class is really like a prep for what you'll do, in real life, but also it's an opportunity for you to thank them for the work that they do. So this assignment is not just an assignment, it's also for you to show your appreciation for what they're doing by actually sending them a thank you note. So this is a real deal. Kim may be filling in. Kim is not student services. I think she's student services, not career services. So she may just be filling in and just not aware. So I'll make sure that gets addressed. But I just want to make sure you guys understand it's not just about doing this assignment. It's actually about building that relationship with career services. Does that make sense, guys? Because I really don't want you guys to be like, it's just thank you. Like, no, it's the deal. You want to thank them for their time because you really want to get in the habit of doing that, right? You want to get in the habit of doing that, in real life anyway. All right, very good. All right. So are there going to be other business letters that you will write? Absolutely. There's going to be supply letters, customer letters, accepting and declining positions, which brings me to my next point, right? If you go out in the real world and you're having all these interviews, some of them you will be accepting, some of them you will be declining. My friends, do not ignore the ones that you don't want. If you are fortunate enough to get one or two, maybe even three opportunities, you got to tell somebody yes, you got to tell the others no. Make sure you follow up and tell the other people no, and let them know that maybe you've interviewed at 5 jobs, you've gotten 2 callbacks, you're waiting for the other 2, but somebody says yes. Go ahead and let the other person know. You can initiate that. You can say, "Oh, Sarah, I just wanted to let you know I've decided to take another position. Thank you so much for allowing me a time to get to know your company." Let me tell you what that does. Like I said to you before, you are going into an industry, my friends. That means your world has just gotten smaller. welcome to professional industries. If I'm a teacher, there's only so many teachers, right? There's only so many professors. Now I am in a very smaller world, right? The world is not so big in terms of my profession. And you want to keep those bridges. You may start one job and then 2 years later, you may have to go back that job that you did not accept. Now you have to go back to, or maybe you want to go to because they have a position you can't get promoted at this company. So you decide you want to go to that company. How you the impression that you give people is what they are going to remember. So make sure you send those letters, declining an offer. If someone sends you a letter, accepting an offer, and maybe you got two, you got to let one down. Make sure you let them down, nicely, sing their praises. Just let them know that you've decided to go in a better direction. In those instances, I always use my family as an example. I've decided to pursue an opportunity that's more closely aligned with my family dynamics. Nobody can ever knock you for that, right? I just keep it personal. Don't ever make it about them. And then you can always cross that bridge again if you need it, right? So make sure you are sending these offer emails, accepting them. With the offer, it's easy to remember to do it because 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask you to sign a employment contract. So you are definitely going to respond back to them, but make sure that when you do send an email, get out of the habit of sending one-liner emails, guys. In a professional setting, you need to have that opening body closing, even in an email. I am guilty myself of getting straight to the point. I am a get straight to the point kind of person. And I have to even challenge myself to do the introductory body closing email, even if it's just 3 sentences. Get in the habit of doing that. All right. So offer letter, declining offer letter, thanking them for their time. You decide to move into a different direction. No big deal. Got it? Any questions on that? Go ahead, Savannah. Or you want me to look at something? Your hand is still up. Okay. All right. So here is your participation question for today. I want to know, what is your biggest hurdle or obstacle that you feel will keep you from achieving what you want in your new career? What is your biggest hurdle or obstacle? It doesn't have to be anything negative. It could just be, family dynamics. It could be, the challenge of having to move into a new place, maybe just, you know, maybe getting through school was a bit difficult and you have concerns regarding that, whatever it is. And then how you overcome it. Hey, people say research, some people say support system, some people say, trial by error once I get there. I'm sure I'll get over it. Whatever your truth is, right? That's your participation question for the day. Please remember to do that email, submit the email, send a screenshot, and submit it to me. My friends, once again, class ends on this Thursday at 10 p.m. I know y'all like, Miss Taylor, my goodness, let me tell you, there will be somebody that will ask. I've been teaching this class for many, many years, every single class, and I've almost taught 100 of these things. Someone asks me, when is class over? I didn't know class was over on Thursday. Class ends on Thursday at 10 p.m. Tell your friends. Thursday at 10 p.m. All right? Please try to get all your work in by Wednesday at 11:59. My friends, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming to class today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good day. Kim, is that you? Miss Kim. All right, my friend, please, could you hold tight? Could you hold tight? Yeah. All right, everybody else. If you don't have any questions, have a good day. For those of you that have further questions, please stand back and we can chat. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.